We've beaten Mansfield Town 2-1. It was a great game. Like, I really, really enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it more than the Brighton game, not just because of nerves, but it was a cracking game, wasn't it?
Oh, 100%. And it's definitely one that, like, if you can, it's hard to put your Arsenal hat aside, but if you can definitely, like, imagine how you are watching this game as a neutral or someone who doesn't have loads of skin in the game and just be completely absorbed by the whole occasion. It was fascinating. It was really entertaining to watch.
It was one of those things where, like, I don't often watch the build-up to a game.
Yes.
I usually just literally, like, rock on the TV at the minute it starts because I can't be bothered with all the stuff that goes beforehand. But with this, I just thought, and like my wife and daughter are out, so I was like, I'm going to settle in, and I watched it all, and it was a real proper throwback, like old school FA Cup build-up. The whole town's excited,
yes.
And it was like the owners were there. The owners they never stopped interviewing the owners, and at the end, and the owners kept saying their kids were there, and their kids are Arsenal fans. They got two twins. One of them walked out with Mansfield. One of them walked out with the Arsenal team, and they're Arsenal fans. And I say all that half and half scarves, and it was real. I hate this, but the romance of the FA Cup. It was a proper romantic tie, and as I was watching it, a bit of me quite wanted Mansfield to score. Did you get that feeling at all?
Well, I think I wasn't there yet because I needed us to be like 3 goals up before I could allow myself to get to that point. But you encouraged me. You said on our group chat, I'm going to watch the full build up. And I thought, I'll stick the build up on as well. And it was lovely. And I think that, the owners were having a great time. The family was having a great time. Nigel Clough loves being involved in these type of things. You could tell he was absolutely reveling in the whole day of it. But I think especially off the week that we've had and all this kind of debate around the state of modern football, to have one of these proper FA Cup weekend, it is a salve to whatever wounds we're wearing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I thought it would be more fun, free-flowing, us in control sort of thing.
Yes.
I was expecting a sort of kind of what we saw. I think, to be honest, if it was at the Emirates, it probably would have been like that. I
think so, yeah.
The pitch was really, and there was loads of videos that I think Simon Collins had put on his X, that it was like they really watered one side of the pitch.
Yeah, Martin Keown asked Clough about that. He seemed like he was having a little bit of a dig. He was like, how many times you watered this pitch this week? Come on, this isn't up to standard. It was like, come on, Keown.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
But the thing is, the water, I mean, I don't know why they needed to water it. I don't understand gardening, really. But, like, they really have. There's been so much rain. Like, why do you need to keep watering it? And it was stodgy on that sort of, as you were looking at the screen, the sort of bottom half of the pitch. And that really did affect the game. But they had 11 shots in the first half. They created an XG of over 2 in the entire game, which they're the first team to get over 2 XG against Arsenal this year.
Wow. I mean, Mansfield were excellent. I think that's maybe the most important thing to start with. They were really, really good. I mean, Clough said he wanted to make it difficult for Arsenal. He definitely did. I mean, obviously playing on that sort of pitch also changes things. And the way I kind of saw this game happening was, I kind of thought that the beginning was playing out and it was difficult. We had some chances, but they had some chances. And I kind of thought, if we can get the goal, we'll probably score 2, 3, 4 and run away with it. And when we scored that brilliant goal from Madueke, that's kind of what I hoped would happen. And maybe kind of halftime you don't get the second for halftime, and they have a chance to regroup at halftime, and obviously they get their goal themselves, and suddenly it's a completely different tie. And then we're not able to go and kind of have that slightly more emphatic, less nervy victory than I hoped. But yeah, I mean, Mansfield need to take all the credit for that. They did all the things that I think a smaller team need to do in the FA Cup. They set up really organised, set up with a really organised defence. That back five with the kind of midfielders in front made it so difficult for Arsenal to find space, and like had to kind of go down the sides a lot, couldn't get a lot of clear opportunities in the middle. There was a lot of blocked shots. But then the crucial thing, they also found a way to break, and had those 11 shots in that XG that you said, which a lot of smaller teams struggle to do. And I think that's what kind of made the whole package of the performance so, I guess, convincing.
Yeah, and also like in the first half, right? That the amount of shots we had in this was 11 in the first half, which is the most we faced in 45 minutes. From a game since April 2022. Like this really was an incredible thing. But a caveat to all of that is that we played 3 at the back, which Arteta said in his press conference that they trained for 10 minutes on this back 3. So there was a back 3 that involved Marley Salmon, who's 16, Mosquera, who's 20,
which you forget.
And Calafiori as this sort of back 3, and it really did look very, very open from the start. And fair play to Mansfield Town that they really took advantage of it. But I was expecting them to be a bit more lump it up to to Rhys Oates, but they didn't. They wanted to get the ball down and play. Yeah,
definitely. I thought the Arsenal team set up, particularly until we had to make the change during the first half and Trossard came off, was fascinating. Like, it was the back 3, as you said, and then basically just Norgard in front, kind of doing all the tidying up. And then all the attacking players just in front of them 4, kind of just going where they want. I think the way it was kind of set out was you had kind of Madueke and Trossard as wing backs with then Dowman and Martinelli as attacking wingers, but they were kind of free to swap as much as they want. And then the middle players. And I just thought it was like really interesting to see. And this is twice now in the FA Cup that Arteta has gone with this more fluid attacking system, where in the last game against Wigan, you had Saka in the middle, Maguire out wide, but they were kind of swapping over a lot. And I wonder if this is something like maybe an insight into how next season might go. I don't know, but it's something he's clearly got in his mind that he wants to be a bit more fluid in attacking areas. I think ultimately what happened is it created a lot of space in the middle of the park for Mansfield to break and do what you say, get the ball down a little bit more, play through Arsenal's midfield, because Norgard was just like the only man in there trying to stop things. But yeah, it was interesting to see it from an Arsenal perspective as well.
And unless you're Declan Rice, you can't sort of do that where you're in 15 positions. Because I don't think Norgard had a bad game.
No, I don't think so.
Weird because like Dowman, who was fantastic. I mean, we don't forget Dowman 16, but you do forget in a way that you watch him play and you just think, man, he's just like, I want to see him in the Prem. Like, he doesn't look out of place. He's like all those things that we see from Madueke and from Trossard and from those tricky little players. But he just never seems to lose the ball. And he had 5 shots, 3 on target, and he had this incredible solo run. We've seen this before from him, but he just never looks phased, and he keeps the ball so beautifully. There was one where he managed to get a shot off. There was one where he did a brilliant pass to Martinelli, and it's like when you look at him versus Martinelli, and you just sort of think it's light and day, and Martinelli's 24, 25.
It's the way he glides past players, and and this is what I think I mentioned this the other day. Like, all your logic tries to tell you that, this guy's 16, let's be patient with him, let's not put him in too quickly. And then you just see him gliding past defenders. And obviously you might say, this is a League One side in Mansfield, but it happens when he's coming against Premier League sides as well. Consistently throughout the season, in the times we have seen him, he just glides past players with such ease. And as a fan, like, it's the sort of thing you cannot help be excited by. The thing I'm now even more excited about is when he then turns that into a goal at the end of it. Because when he does that, he's going to be unstoppable.
But he's going to get brought down for more penalties as well.
That happened in pre-season. He won about 4 penalties in pre-season when he was still a 15-year-old.
Because people just want to boot him. And it's going to be interesting to see as well, because with the games coming up, when does Arteta go, Max Dowman is the realistic person we need to bring on?
Well, yeah, I think that's it. I think off the bench, certainly, at times, I mean, particularly while we've got a few injuries, Odegaard's out, there's probably a bit more space on the bench, have him there, and then we can see like what games, what opportunities. Because I think as much as, again, if I am going to be a bit more sensible about the age thing, I think the important thing is that you give him chances at times where he's not absorbing loads of pressure. So we spoke about when he got brought on at the Liverpool game right at the start of the season. That would felt like, although part of me, again, the kind of part that's sees him dribble past defenders was like, lovely he came on and scored here, and he is amazing. But like, ultimately, that's a lot to put on a very young kid's shoulders to try and go at Anfield to score a winning goal. So I think there's definitely times in the Premier you might see him between now and the end of the season, but let's be cautious to do it at the right times.
Absolutely, be cautious with it. We started 2 16-year-olds. We're the first Premier League team to do that.
Yeah.
And so the other one was Marley Salmon. And unfortunately, I think because Dowman is so good, it sort of overshadows Marley. Not overshadows. It sort of unfortunately puts Marley Salmon a bit more under the spotlight. I think it's a different position as well, because, Dowman makes a mistake and loses the ball in the final third. It's not such a big problem. Where like Marley Salmon, he tried to play the ball to Mosquera.
Yeah.
It was a little bit short. The pitch was a little bit stodgy. Mm-hmm. The thing is, like, when they're playing at the wherever, what's it called? The Sober Reality Centre, London Colony, Watford's backyard. Like, when they're training there, they've got snooker pitch, snooker table pitches. Where here, those balls are just not passing to the way they normally do. And I actually thought Marley Salmon looked quite out of his depth and was quite pleased to see Timber come on for him.
See, I wouldn't go as far as that. I think we need to be, for the reasons you just said, we need to be cautious in how critical we are of Salmon.
True.
In the first half, I was reasonably impressed with him, and I think I was impressed with how brave he is on the ball. Mm-hmm. I think for a 16-year-old kid to come and play at centre half for Arsenal, albeit in a back three, but he's played at centre half and at right back at times in a back four as well, and to be that brave on the ball was astonishing. And he's clearly really good with the ball at his feet. You saw that at times in the first half. He was very comfortable, even stepping not quite fully into midfield, but kind of roaming around to get space and pass the ball. And I think he knitted it together nicely at times in the first half. But ultimately, there were other moments where his kind of inexperience shows, particularly with the goal, but also a few other moments as well. And I kind of think that the key point to it is the one that you raised, right? If there was times that Max Dowman gave the ball away.
Yeah.
In ways that other older players might not have done, but it's not as crucial because, as you said, it's in the final third of the pitch, you can recover. Salmon doesn't have that level of protection, so all the little mistakes become much more obvious. And I think that actually, I felt there was definitely signs that he is a really good player, and I think we need to be careful with him.
And also, he's 16.
Yeah,
when I was 16... I was working at Gatwick Airport at the Nike store, being sick on myself, trying to impress a girl that I got in Secret Santa called Sophie Newman. Like, the lad's playing for the biggest team in the world, and not even arguably. Like, it's amazing. And the thing is, he was playing again, with Mosquera, where let's put him alongside Gabriel or Saliba, where they're coaching him through the game.
Yeah, and I felt like
Mosquera's a young lad.
Yeah, and I felt like, I think Evans does really well when he gets the ball, and Mosquera, it makes Mosquera's life really difficult, but you also hope that Mosquera bails Salmon out there once he made the mistake. And maybe someone like Gabriel in particular would have done that. Mm-hmm. But Mosquera, who has been excellent, but isn't obviously Gabriel, wasn't able to do that, which I mean, fine. I think Evans ultimately deserves the credit in the main. Yeah. But like the whole thing comes together, and it's quite a difficult situation for Salmon to be put in.
Let's talk a little bit about Mansfield. So Rhys Oates, who I did actually mention in the preview, as someone who'd scored 6 goals this season. He was fantastic, right? He was named man of the match. He's an Arsenal fan, which I didn't realise until they were interviewing afterwards. Lovely. Yeah, and he said, like, his dream as a lad was like to either play for Arsenal or play against them. It was really beautiful to us. This is what the FA Cup is about. But I actually thought he really was fantastic. He got past players really a few times. He didn't look like a League One player, and you hope in these situations that this is a shop window for players like Rhys Oates, because you've got to be looking at as a Championship team and going, whoa, he's a real player.
You mean that Arsenal aren't going to, sign one of their own fans, get them up front for next season?
Like Carl Jenkinson. That went well.
Yeah, I know, quite. But I think, and actually when Evans came on at half time, Oates and Evans, that Joe we mentioned on Friday, they actually linked up really nicely and made Arsenal's life really difficult. And I just can't imagine what it's like to play against Arsenal as an Arsenal fan. Like, where I sit at the Emirates, right, is below where a lot of the players' families sit. So it means that one, like, kind of pre-game or post-game, they'll come over and wave. Or it's also sometimes where the players will sit when they're injured. So if you look carefully, you might see an Odegaard sat up behind you. And I freak out. I'm like, Odegaard's there, like 15 metres away from me. Like, what am I going to do? Or, Saka's waving at his family after the game, and I'm like getting all hot and flustered.
You sure he's not waving at you, Rory?
Well,
sure?
I mean, that's the whole point. I think he is waving at me, and I can't deal with that. Never mind sharing a pitch with them, with these players. I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, I know they're much more professional than me, but still.
Yeah, but still, I love it. And you saw, like, as Calafiori came off with suspected some sort of injury.
Yeah.
Arteta did say there were two little niggles.
I'm hoping it's going to be all right.
That's his favourite word, isn't it? Two little niggles for him and Trossard. But as he came off the pitch, you saw him and Oates come off together. And I think what Oates was saying, because Oates hasn't learnt the art of putting his hand in front of his face in case whatever you say.
Proper football.
So I'm going to start doing that for podcasting. Like but he didn't put his hand in front of his face, and he sort of just said, can I have your shirt after the game? And I was like, I love that stuff. Although, if you were playing against Arsenal, whose shirt would you want to get?
Well, I mean, there's two ways of looking at it, right? Calafiori is the most handsome. So
true. And I bet he's got good cologne.
Exactly. So there's something like a little bit naughty about wearing his shirt. But at the same time, like Bukayo Saka.
It's always Saka, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. So I think they're your options ultimately. Or Declan Rice, but he obviously wasn't playing. So
do you remember when Andre Santos asked for Van Persie's shirt at half time as when he was playing for Man United, and they walked down the tunnel and Van Persie, who did know what he was doing, took his shirt off and gave it to him at half time, and it's like, the optics on that.
Yeah. That's become a bit of a crime in our sport, is players asking for shirts at half time. It's absolutely
don't do it half time.
No. After the game, I mean, if you're in the same league, no, generally, unless you're like friends or something. But
even if you text each other.
Yeah, exactly. If you're league below, I think it's acceptable, but definitely only after the game.
Only after the game. We don't need to know about this. We don't, it's certainly not half time. But I also think maybe it was because Rhys Oates was going up against Calafiori, and it was
I respect that.
The battle we had.
Or he thinks it'll just sell for a lot on eBay afterwards.
Yeah.
Unwashed Calafiori shirt.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Laura from our parish would probably pay quite a lot for that. Now, look, both Arsenal goals were fantastic strikes. We all put in the group at the same time, lovely finish. Madueke's goal, fantastic. I mean, also, it was, it was his bit of skill that started it off as well. Like, he had his shot, that was saved, beautifully passed back to him, and fantastic finish. Then Ebbs comes on, and a real rocket into the top right hand corner, and it's like, we want to see that a little bit more. We want to see that more in the Prem.
Yes,
because there were two fantastic goals, and Madueke's overall performance, he's had 2 assists and 2 goals in the last 3 rounds of the FA Cup. He almost scored another direct corner. This was a really good performance from Madueke. And it was good to see a couple of lovely finishes.
Yeah, and I think it's one, it was credit to Mansfield, because they basically limited us to really good finishes. Like, we couldn't create like anything clear cut other than the one they cleared off the line, which is obviously, again, credit to them. But I think it was not, particularly for those two players, like, for different reasons. One, Madueke, we love his energy, we love what he does. There's times it's been, can he be a bit more clinical? Well, that was certainly a clinical finish. And with Ez, obviously, it's can he be consistent? Like, we know he's got these moments, but can he be consistent? And to see them get goals always makes you warm inside. And I kind of hope now that, particularly with Eza, like, we've mentioned he's streaky. Is this maybe the start of a streak? Like, a run of matches in the side, the Tottenham game, now a goal here. Like, could this be a lovely, perfectly timed streak between now and the end of the season? I bloody hope so.
But I would just really, really love to see him sort of stake that claim. Now that Odegaard is we never know with Arsenal these days, because Odegaard could absolutely play 90 minutes in Germany on Wednesday. I don't know. But at the moment, he's still out, and you really want to see Ebbs take control of that. There was a bit of me, and I don't know about you, because I want to talk a little bit about Gabriel Jesus, who I thought was pretty bad. I also thought Martinelli was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I was a bit of me watching it going, it's all right, we'll probably score, we'll probably go through. But there was a bit of me going, no, don't play like this against Leverkusen, my God.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on Martinelli first. I just don't think it was his game, ultimately. And maybe that's a bit harsh, because he's been so good in the Cups, and against Portsmouth he obviously scored, but that was corners. But I feel like Martinelli's games is when the game opens up around him and he can run into space. And the way that Mansfield set up made that pretty difficult for him, and he's doing a lot of the head down, trying to get past 3 players, and it all becomes quite stodgy. Jesus is a funny one, because when he first came back from injury, he looked lightning sharp in a way that I did not expect.
Absolutely.
And it feels like he wasn't able to keep that up for whatever reason. And maybe we're actually now getting more of the Jesus that I expected we would get post-injury, which is ultimately a footballer who has not played an awful lot in the last 18 months, who's coming back from quite a difficult injury. I mean, I think whenever players come back mid-season, having not had a proper pre-season, it is really difficult for them to get up to the speed they need to be really, really competitive, particularly in a team like Arsenal that are fighting on all fronts and playing against at the top of the game. So maybe this is just the example of that, but he needs to find a way to be a bit better and find a way to contribute a little bit more, because ultimately we do need him between now and the end of the season. I
think you're being kind. I think, there's been, it's been months now since he's been back. I feel like it's been managed quite nicely. He's not just been shoved in to start loads of games, because obviously, like I agree with you. When he came back, he started playing well. And I remember the Man United game, we were sort of going, let's get Gabriel Jesus starting. And since then, it's just his performances have been quite bad. And it isn't good enough, because we need to be able to rotate players. And if we can't, because players like Martinelli and players like Gabriel Jesus, and this was Mansfield, I know the pitch wasn't great, but you're misplacing passes all the time and balls just bouncing off you. Like, it's I don't know. I worry as well, because looking further in the future, we want to try and sell these players, and it's like,
well, that's a massive
turning
part
in
of
this
it, for
kind
sure.
of crap. It's not
but no, that's such an important point, because I think ultimately and this is something we've been so bad at, right? Selling players, we've all talked about it. And it's there's two sides to it. Obviously, you want them to play well because you want to win the game, but you also need to get some value in the players. So it is super important. And there's because also as well, even just from the bench, when Gyökeres isn't doing it, you want Gabriel Jesus to come off from the bench. Yeah.
Now in recent times, he has actually done well. Look at that Leeds game he came on and did quite well. So I don't know, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, but I just, when you're looking at Mansfield,
I don't think so.
You're going, come on, man, this is
100%.
If I'm Arteta, I'm saying like I'm giving you your chance. You got to take that chance. He sort of said that about Lewis Skelly. I know he was suspended for today, but he's saying when you get your chance, you got to take your chance. You want to play for a team that is the best in Europe. Take your chance when you get a chance. There's only 11 spaces.
Well, definitely, and I think particularly there's going to be questions, right? If you can't score against League One opposition, or you can't at least be dominant against League One opposition, how are you going to cope against in the Champions League or in the Premier League?
And my biggest thing is that, there was 2 or 3 opportunities where, Mansfield had pushed a lot of players up. There was one where we had 7 players on 2 defenders.
Yeah.
And you're going, you got to score.
Well, this is it. And I think, generally, you're onto something not just with Jesus, but actually team-wide. We need to find a way to be more ruthless, for sure.
And that's in every game. That's in the Brighton game.
100% in every game. The recent weeks, we have lacked a ruthlessness for sure, and that will come back to bite us at some stage. And ultimately, we did have quite a lot of chances in this game, or we at least had a lot of time in and around the box in this game. And, we have credited Mansfield for making it difficult and making it hard, and I think they do deserve an awful lot of credit for that. But ultimately, if you are the best team in the league, potentially the best team in Europe, you should still be able to find a way to overcome that and put 3, 4, 5 goals past a team like Mansfield, no matter how well they are defending.
I think the thing is, Rory, right? We're in, it's the 7th of March, and we're getting into the bits where, and Arteta sort of said this, we're getting to the bits where we can achieve the things we want to achieve. And, Madueke's goal is our 100th goal of the season, right? Yeah. We've reached the total on April the 20th last season.
Yeah.
It's 2.17 goals per game, which is our best goals per game ratio since the 1952-53 season. So the reason I'm having a little bit of a whinge is more just because it's come on, guys, you're so capable. It's not
100%.
You're shit, what's going on, Arsenal? I'm not trying to be Jamie O'Hara, but I'm watching it just going you're so, there's been so many times when we've been this season, even when I think back to the Tottenham game, the Wigan game, a bit further back, the Aston Villa game, the Bayern Munich game, there's been times when we're really, really ruthless. I just worry that's not been the levels we've reached in the last sort of month and a half. And that now's the time where we want to be at those levels.
Yeah. But I think there's 2 sides of it. Because what you said there about us getting 100 goals quicker in the last few seasons. I was also looking at the Premier League table the other day, and we've scored the joint most goals in the league, despite this narrative that we don't score loads of goals. But I also don't think that it's totally unfair in this Arsenal team. And I think the reasons why is, one, it's just the classic eye test that you watch this Arsenal team and they don't look at not at every game, but at points of the season, they haven't looked as free-flowing as we would like them to. And the goals have come from other avenues like set pieces, which again, I think it's completely fine. Like, that's a legitimate way to score, of course. But I also think it's like, I also sometimes feel like we are a little bit streaky when it comes to our work in the attacking third. Like, there's been a number of occasions where we scored 3, 4, even 5 goals against Leeds at the start of the season. We have had games where we've racked up big scores, but then we've had games where we've made scoring look really difficult. So over the course of the season, the problem isn't scoring goals as a whole. It's in certain instances, whether it's a run of a few games or whether it's kind of difficult away games, it looks like it at times looks more difficult than it should for a team that is top of the league. And I think that comes back to your point. It's the standards we're measuring us now at. We're not measuring against a kind of any team from recent history. We're measuring against a team that is literally still fighting for 4 different trophies.
Yes, it's crunch time. Arteta was apparently meeting Nigel Clough's dog after the game. His dog's called Bobby. Nigel Clough had wanted to get off from his pre-match interview because he needed to go and bathe Bobby before, which was weird. Apparently he was sat in Nigel Clough's office during the game.
Apparently Bobby just chills watching the game on the telly.
I love that.
I would love Bobby in the technical area, personally. I would love to see Bobby in the technical area. You know,
still no mention of Win though, and that does worry me. It's the perfect opportunity to mention Win.
I've dug into this, right?
Okay, good.
The last, I did a real deep dive. The last
we were going to say something really
public appearance from Win that I can find is for the celebration of the Women's Champions League. I did a deep dive. I built an AI program, ChatGPT, to help me find out where Win was. And the last public appearance that I could see from her or find out from her was the celebrations for the Women's Champions League, which was on the 28th of May, 2025. Now, there's been mentions of her since, but that was the last time she was seen. So I've come to one conclusion, which is that Katie McCabe has stolen her.
Okay, fine. I don't mind that.
She was having a lovely time that day.
That's okay.
She was getting picked up by a lot of the players, so I think Win now just lives with Katie McCabe. And
I would trust Katie McCabe with Win, but I urge if anyone who's listening, if you do know Katie, could you ask her to at least post some sort of picture on her Instagram?
Yeah,
because I'm worried about Win, and we don't need this kind of anxiety when we're already anxious enough.
Also, Katie McCabe is likely to leave Arsenal in the summer, so she better give her back before she
Don't give the dog back! Why are you taking Win to anywhere else?
Yeah.
I'm not on the pod on Monday. As Laura's back, Lucy and Johnny, they're all going to be speaking, and you'll speak a little bit more about Gabriel Jesus and today's performance, and looking forward to Leverkusen. Now, I'm going to my first European away game.
I'm so excited for you.
I'm really excited.
Have you worked out where you're staying yet? Are you staying in Leverkusen or are you staying in Cologne?
Staying in Cologne.
Yes. Okay.
Because my uncle used to live there, and because I was a Leverkusen fan when I was a kid.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I'll send you the pictures of my Leverkusen shirt from when I was 15, because my uncle lived in Cologne.
Yeah, very nice.
I was going to try and go with him. He's actually a Rapid Vienna fan and a Luton fan, randomly, but he loves Leverkusen.
Okay.
So I was into Leverkusen when I was a kid, and we played them in 2004.
Yeah.
And haven't played them since. But I'm very, very. We played them in one pre-season, I think. But I'm very excited. I'm going to get a Granit Xhaka shirt.
Oh, nice.
I'm staying in Cologne. Apparently, Düsseldorf isn't as much fun as Cologne.
Well, I visited Leverkusen. Leverkusen, as itself as a town, is dead. Do not stay there. Cologne is lovely, but be careful, because I had a near-death experience in Cologne, because I choked on a big bit of Schweinhaxer. Now, get the Schweinhaxer. It is lovely. It's pork knuckle. It's like a big bit of pork.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
And it's a lot of meat. It's very carnivorous, which is a bit of me, as regular listeners to the show will know. But I didn't chew it properly. Choked. Tried to drink some of my German beer to save myself, but all that happened was the beer then pulled in the back of my throat above the Schweinhaxer, and it was one of the most harrowing experiences of my life, actually. But I then went and had a McFlurry to make myself feel better, so you know.
Do you know what? Schweinhaxer sounds like that's something that I would shout if I started to choke. Schweinhaxer! Well, look, I will look out for it. Thank you for your advice, and any more recommendations, send them along. And anyone who's listening, if you've got any recommendations of places to go in Cologne or things to do in a European away tie, please do send them in and tell me what to do, and tell, if you know anyone that's going or you are going, look out for me and keep me safe, please. I have a wife and a family.